Dear men, are you afraid of talking to women? Are you afraid of approaching women with the prospect of a date or a relationship? Does it terrify you that you will be ridiculed and maybe even accused of misconduct or harassment? Well, I'm here to help you today. I'm here to tell you that all your fears are true. So let me take you on a journey where you will lose brain cells at each step and hate the fact that you live in a world where mental retardation is a political, socio-political movement called third wave feminism. Let me show you sights and scenes from a vision that I had last month, which I did not believe to be true, but it turns out it was. Millennials, a generation who identify as a unicorn. Like literally, they do identify as a unicorn. Have disintegrating family units smaller than David's. A generation which has the most options, yet is having the least amount of. Marriage is a prehistoric concept. Men have statistically dropping testosterone levels, yet women and men are entering puberty earlier than ever. Society is overtly sexualized by popular culture, and yet sexuality itself is frowned upon, like it's some sort of taboo. Male sexuality specifically. The more degenerate your sexuality is, the better it is for the times that we live in. A world of oxymorons and just morons. So, welcome to the new age. So, I read two articles last month and I actually thought that they were trolling. I did not believe these articles to be genuine or true in any form of the word. I thought they were trolls. I can't. I mean, no one can be that big of a retard, can they? Can they? Now, though I stand by what I said the last time, where I said that feminism is a dying cult and women are abandoning it, people are abandoning it by the thousands every year, by the millions every year, by the thousands every month perhaps. But like everything, its last dying breaths are going to be the most venomous and in the long run perhaps even impactful. They've single-handedly destroyed the family unit. So this messed up cult of misandry that has no lows that it will not fall to, it can go down to the pits of Tartarus if it has to. Your most potent imaginations could not conceive of the depths that it can fall to. Um, Let us read one such article of a new law.
Straight away, the headline is Man gets convicted of assaulting woman's breast during consensual sex by Rachna Shrivastava. Let's see what other articles Rachna has written. Oh, look, true journalism. Such great journalism by this person. So let's look at the article itself. I'll link it down below so you can read it as per your convenience. But in simple words, a man and a woman decide that they want to get it on. And the woman says that, all right, we'll get it on, but you will not touch my bosom. And the man, while in that moment, happens to touch the woman's bosom, and she accuses him of assault, sexual assault specifically. Now, the man is a medical graduate, he's 37 years old, and he was found guilty. So, he will be put on the sex offenders list. That means he will not be able to pursue his career. He's going to lose his job if he has any, and he's tainted forever. He will be on a list next to pedophiles and rapists. Can you believe this? Because I really can't. Can you really believe this?
So let me put it this way. If you happen to get lucky, before you touch each specific part, you need individual consents for said part. Like, may I kiss you on the mouth? May I fondle? So the one consent is not enough where, yes, let's get it on, let's smash. That is not enough. You need. It's so retarded. You need individual permissions for individual body parts or while getting it on. It's just. I don't think this is real, but it is, unfortunately. May I enter? May I exit? What? Because if you don't, you're a bloody abuser of the divine feminine. So this guy has been put on the offenders list. His chances of having a good career are gone down the drain. So let's put that aside. All the years that he's worked for, all the money that he's paid, all gone for something that was consented to. It's so out there that it seems almost surreal. And I understand why MGTOWs say that they should give up on relationships altogether. But let me reiterate it. This is a very one odd instant. It's not like you're hearing news like this every day, but it's happening, and that is alarming in itself. But it's not happening every other day. And I feel really bad about this guy. I don't know. Can we help him in some way? If we can, please write a suggestion down below so I know that, at least. So I have an idea at least if there is something we can do. Some sort of Patreon where people can pay or something. I don't know. If you have any ideas, please, down below. I don't know what kind of a judge it was who passed the sentence. Perhaps some buzz cut cockatoo screaming, ah, sexism, sexism. So I don't know if you people have ever gotten it on, but women are generally sensitive. I mean, their body is remarkably more sensitive than ours. So it happens quite often that they get bruised. And you can be the most careful person that you are. You can be overtly restricting yourself from using any strength, and yet it will happen. It's bound to happen. Again, will I be on the offenders list if I say something that is biologically true? Maybe. This mugshot might work, and people aren't gonna have sympathy for me. But God, like this is the weirdest thing I've heard in a very very long time. I think the only weirder thing I've heard more than this was this man who killed his best friend because they were having a threesome, and their dongs touched, and he killed him. So that's as absurd. This is even more absurd because this is a sentence passed by a judge. Like, what is the world coming to? I'm in utter disbelief over this. Like utter disbelief. Completely understand why men would go their own way and be cynical of relationships and give up altogether. The legislative power that a woman has over a man is terrifying. Terrifying. And it's completely understandable, but again, this is a one odd instance, and it will be a one odd instance unless it becomes a trend. Then I might want to consider becoming a MGTOW again. But I can't say all women do this, because thankfully I have never encountered such psychos in my life. Most of these psychos are all heard about over the internet. I don't know if you people have seen psychos in real life. If you have, share a story of a psycho down below. But I personally haven't seen such psychos in the real world. All of them are online because they cannot do anything in real life. In real life, they're terrified of speaking their mind. And when they do speak their mind, it's very easy to point out the flaws in their argument. And they quickly back out. And if they don't back out, they become hysteric, but they're never psychotic. But of course, if you have any stories, please share some down below. This hits even hard because if you know, the suicide ratio of men is monumentally higher than women. So I really hope this guy doesn't do something because of this verdict. And if he does, I understand why he would do it. I really like how they ended though. I mean, they ended with the Pink movie's dialogue. I really like it. That movie has become the feminist documentary that everyone should watch to be inducted in the cult. Indian, at least. जिसने मूवी बनाई, जिसने एक्टिंग करी है, अमिताभ बच्चन, वो तो अपने करोड़ों रुपए उठा के चला गया. उसने तो अपने हाथ झाड़े और वो चला गया. उसको थोड़ी ना परवाह है कि दुनिया में असली में क्या होता है. उसके ज़माने में शायद होती थी दिक्कतें, पर अब द इंटायर कॉन्सेप्ट हैज चेंज्ड रैडिकली. वो तो अपने पैसे उठा के चला गया. उसको कोई नहीं परवाह कि हाँ बोलो या ना बोलो. वो अपने बैठा है मैंशन के अंदर. तुम लोग ऑनलाइन लड़ते रहो, उल्टे सीधे वर्डिक्ट पास करते रहो. उसको क्या फ़र्क पड़ता है. उसने तो अपने हाथ झाड़े और वो चला गया. उसने सबके दिमाग में भर दिया कि हाँ, हर आदमी रेपिस्ट है और ना का मतलब नहीं समझ में आता आदमियों को. और उसने ऐसी कौन सी बड़ी बात बोली, बाय द वे, ऐसी कौन सी बड़ी बात बोली जो माँ बाप घर में नहीं, किसी का बाप या किसी की माँ घर पे ये नहीं बोलते कि ना का मतलब हाँ होता है, किसी का. और अगर तुम्हारे माँ बाप ने ऐसा बोला तो तुम साइको हो. लेकिन मेरे को लगता नहीं किसी के माँ बाप ने कभी ऐसा बोला होगा कि ना का मतलब हाँ होता है. तो ये बार बार बोलना कि ना का मतलब हाँ, हाँ का मतलब क्या. सबको पता है ना का मतलब ना है, हाँ का मतलब हाँ है. जो करते हैं, जो भी करते हैं, वो ये जान के करते हैं कि ना का मतलब ना है, फिर भी वो करते हैं। इसलिए नहीं कि उनके माँ बाप ने उनको सिखाया कि ना का मतलब हाँ है, बस वो करते हैं। मैंने पहले भी ये वाली बात बोली है, जिसको मर्डर करना है वो मर्डर करेगा। चाहे तुम चिल्ला चिल्ला के बोलो कि नहीं नहीं मेरे को मत मार, वो तो फिर भी तुम्हें मारेगा। जिसको तुम्हारी जेब काटनी है वो जेब काटेगा, चाहे तुम कितना भी बोलो कि नहीं नहीं नहीं। सो इसका क्या मतलब है, ये ना का मतलब ना, व्हाट डज दैट मीन? वी गेट इट, एवरीवन गेट्स इट। what are you trying to say? ओ देखो, ये किसी ने मेरे को बोला ना, अब तो मैं करूंगा यही चीज। That's how children think, regardless of the gender. That's how children are. You tell them no and they do it still. And these crimes are generally committed by grown people. They understand very well na or ha ka farak. Don't infantilize men the same way I don't want to infantilize you, but obviously after you've written this article, I have to, little kid. Now, if you thought that this was retarded, you haven't seen anything yet. Now, around the same week, another thing came out. Let me show you that as well.
Women are literally dying because people are too afraid to touch boobs. Bystanders are more likely to give CPR to a man than a woman, meaning a woman is 23% more likely to die if she goes into cardiac arrest in public.
A heart attack!
Researchers believe that this gap in CPR rates exists because people are just too nervous to touch a woman's breasts or move her clothes. Really, people, this is when you decide to keep your hands to yourself. It's ridiculous that women's bodies have become so sexualized that people are afraid to touch them in a life-saving situation. But what's important to know is that when CPR is done correctly, you don't need to remove any clothing. And pressure should be applied to the sternum, not the boobs. And more people would know that if CPR training included more female mannequins instead of just mannequins.
Staying alive.
CPR can double or triple somebody's chance of surviving cardiac arrest. So it's about time that we stop being squeamish about women's bodies.
So now that you've seen this video, I understand if you would want to go maybe eat a little bit of cyanide or something. But then there is saving grace. Look at the comments. Most of the comments are by women calling out this video for the sexist piece of garbage that this video is. So there's your saving grace. That's what I was talking about. People are calling it out. Women are calling it out because they understand it's a load of garbage. What is this video meant to communicate is not something I understand at all. You can't touch them. You can touch them without the consent. I would never want to. And this is something that I really wanted to talk about as well.
And this is something that I've been wanting to talk about for a while now as well. See, the only thing that feminists have managed to do is scare women of men, and scare men of being accused of something he didn't do by a woman he tried to help, perhaps. For example, if I'm outside as a man, as a slightly older man, not very young anymore. So as a man, I would I would think 1,000 times before I help a woman in need outside. Not because I'm apathetic, but because I'm scared of being accused of something that I did not do. That's what feminism has managed to do. It has managed to scare women of men, thinking all men are rapists in the waiting, and scare men of women because we are scared of being accused of something that we did not do. Now, this is so terrifying and so tragic because it has taken away the concept of a societal empathy from us. I will never help. Most probably, I would not help a woman if I see her in need in the middle of the night because I'm afraid of going to jail, because I'm afraid that I'll be accused of something. I deliberately avoid contact with women in public transport because I don't want someone to accuse me of something and then not even have the means of defending myself. White knights, men will come pounding on me and beat me because they think that मैंने ladies की insult करी है. Because they want to score brownie points, let's be honest. But more than that, think about it from a legislative point of view where the law is simply so biased that even if I didn't do anything, I will be accused of something. I will go behind bars for something I did not do. And what will I get in terms of recompense if, in case it's proven that I didn't do anything? Nothing. I'll be released and that's all. My dogs are barking and I apologize for that. उनको थोड़ा पता है वीडियो बना रहा हूँ. So, you know, that's the state of affairs that we are in. Very tragic indeed. But again, as I said before, I am slightly optimistic, which is not in my nature to be optimistic, but I am because it is a dying movement in the end. But you have to be careful in these last breaths. So coming back to the point where I started the video, if you're a man living in the 21st century and you are afraid of the things that I spoke about, I have a few tips for you. Steer clear of women with colored hair, especially short hair that's colored. Steer clear of them, alright? They're very easy to identify. Steer clear of them. It's a sign of danger. Just like in the animal kingdom, don't go towards the colored animals because they're going to bite you. Don't walk towards women with colored hair. They are going to ruin your life in some form or the other. But again, this is a very broad topic. Normal women can ruin your life just as easily. So can other men. Also, please don't ask women abroad and even Indian women for Bob and Vegana pics. I understand ironically. If the other person understands irony, then of course, yes. But if you're genuinely asking someone for Bob and Vegana pics, then you're a delinquent and you deserve to be beaten on the pole. You deserve beatings, my friend. I would have, if I was in your age, which I'm guessing most of the gentry by the analytics is 18 to 25, if I was a young adult, if I was in my early 20s and my late teens, times are different. I can't really, my examples would not fall true for yours. But if you really are, if you want to look for love and all of that, I would suggest that you look for it in the real life rather than these apps and all. You make fools out of yourself in the end. That's what I would suggest. Maybe I'm old school, but that's what I would suggest. I don't know much about this online concept. It doesn't appeal to me. Also, another thing that I want to say, don't be afraid of women. डरने की कोई ज़रूरत नहीं है. These articles that you read are online, internet. Don't think that this is what is going to happen to you. It might not. The same way when you get inside a car and you go to your work, you might die or you might not. You might be bitten by a spider while you're sleeping and go into an anaphylactic shock or have boils on your hands. I mean, it might not. It's a risk that you have to take, and if you want to take it, you take it. It's terrifying the times that we live in, but that does not warrant that you live in fear. You be terrified when it's time to be terrified. Most of the time, you live in fairly safe times. You have the majestic internet as your disposal. Be the best version of yourself. I know it sounds cliched, but that's how it is. Someone had asked me a few days ago, on my first video, on my second video or something, what can the modern Indian man do to gain the affection of a woman? I wouldn't know much about it because I've never really worked very hard for this. No, I'm not saying anything good about myself. But, so the one thing that I would definitely reiterate is, don't be afraid. There's nothing to be afraid of unless intuitively you feel like it's about to happen. Because if you are afraid, if you're living your life in fear in this aspect, you're being no different than the feminists outside who are afraid of every man being a rapist. You're afraid that every woman is going to accuse you of sexual harassment. So don't be afraid and don't live your life like them. You're better than them. Don't be a cockatoo with a shaved head and scream, assault! Legislative problems. Don't do that. Don't fall to that level. Have a USP, have a unique selling point that differentiates you from the crowd. That way, at least, if you... see, the problem that most men have is that when they speak to women, they're not really sure how to impress them. That's one of the main problems that you have. So if you have a USP, you can perhaps work that out. That will be beneficial for you in the long run. I mean, even by career aspects, you always need something that you have different from the crowd. So that's what I would recommend in case you're trying to woo someone. So yeah, not that I'm an expert in that field at all. I've had worse tales of cringe and absolute awkwardness that I could narrate, but that's for another video. The next video I've been thinking about is talking about modern masculinity. If you would be interested in that, please leave a comment down below. I wanted to make this one about modern masculinity, but well, this just happened spontaneously, and this script has been sitting in my computer for a while, so I thought, yeah, might as well. Try to release another video before the new year, because I'll be leaving for the mountains on the 28th, and I won't be back till early January, I don't know, 7th or 8th or something. Alright, you have a good day. I would need a drink to digest these two articles because they have upset me from the inside. They're corroding at my core. Alright, so I'm going to have a drink after this. You take care now and ramble on.